the guru of Squad Double Two, the assassin like no other. Yes, I'm the best at what I do. One of the most notorious YouTube anime manga community. Don't doubt my infamy. Now, this video, again, this one's been a while coming. I mean, months upon months coming, and I've been slowly doing these character videos. I started with villains, the arts villains, while back, like sometime early last year. Then the arts heroes, the arts anti-heroes, and now we are at the arts anti-villains. And the thing about it is, I pretty much came up with all these ideas around the same time. And the thing about it, within like a week or two, around a week or two when I originally thought of the villains. And of course more arts videos, I've done them in the past and blah blah blah. More character analysis and different things. I'm very thankful at the reception, the positive remarks people have been giving me in this entire process. I'm very thankful that people spend the time and actually want to understand fiction and have a love for it as much as I do. Whether we agree or disagree, that doesn't matter, okay? The fact is, man, this stuff impacts your life. And why am I saying all this? This is the finale of this four, okay? The four big ones, I could say. People have been asking for this video. They've been asking, wonder what the videos I've made. And I ain't gonna lie, these videos actually take time and thought and energy. Even though I have notes written down, it does. And you know, life sometimes gets wet. But enough of all that jazz. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all know how we do it. We talk about anti-villains. One of the most misunderstood, less recognized, more recent phenomenon in, you could say phenomena if you want to go the individual route, but more recent phenomenon in fiction. It's very modernistic, okay? I would argue to say probably the 60s or post-60s. I guess you can begin with the 60s, 70s, because you have characters like Magneto. And I believe he shall be represented in this one. No, not this one. Not this one. But you can think of Magneto at times as fitting the mold as well. You start seeing it a lot in comics. Comics. Yeah, comics. No, I'm Magneto. Sorry, different list. This is what happens when you got too much going on at the same time. That's gonna be another video talking about Avengers. That's what I was looking at, confusing me. But anyways, we begin with, without further ado, dealing with the first point. And what is the first point? Sides with a hero or protagonist for selfish reasons. Sides with a hero protagonist for selfish reasons. This almost, and not always, but almost guarantees that this character is an anti-villain. And I'll explain, and then there's a second point later in this video that will be dealt with and addressed to kind of confirm it. But look, man, I'm not talking about simply an alliance. I'm talking about this character was clearly an antagonist of the protagonist, okay? There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. This character has done some shady stuff and needs help, or the protagonist needs help. It may be a mutual beneficial thing. That's usually how it is, a mutualistic symbiosis, okay? What's the one? Mutualism? Yeah, that's the one I'm looking for. It's been a few years since I've taken biology, so make sure. Anyways, yeah, man. So it helps either one or both of them. It should more or less help both of them. Let me just put the word. Or else, why would the villain at the time do it? But it is what it is. And an example of that, I should say, is the Joker. The Joker is the perfect example of that. Not only is one of the greatest villains of all time, he's one of the greatest anti-villains of all time as well. And what the Joker does is, at times, Gotham, and usually outside of Gotham, Batman needs help. And who to rely on than an old foe? And I mean an old foe, your arch nemesis. And why rely on your arch nemesis? You know the strengths and weaknesses better than anybody. You know, once you've beaten this character a few times, this person a few times, you know you can beat this character or person again. Okay? It's not a no-brainer. And for the villain, why would you just trust a random dude? This is someone you can trust it. It's like, it's a weird kind of thing. But, for example, let me just use something I believe Bartolomeo from One Piece said. He said, "We clash with our fists. Now we're brothers in arms." It's a weird concept, but yet it makes sense. Depends on the animosity. Let me just put it that way. Depends on the pride. Okay, that's due. But the Joker's a beautiful example of this side. Now, another important characteristic, and that I told you was a two-pronged factor. Once the alliance ends, he or she may return to villainous deeds, villainous ways, or villainous ways if you prefer. And a beautiful example of that is Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor was Superman all the time, and especially in the cartoons, man. All the time Lex Luthor needed Kal-El, that's Superman's help. All the time. This one should be self-explanatory. That's why these two. If the one sides and then straight goes back to being a villain, by the end of the episode, the end of the arc, the end of the whatever, the mission, the goal is met, especially if you're ready to stab the person in the back, that person is an anti-villain, okay? Possibly a villain, depends on what form, what role the character, person takes within the rest of the story or the rest of the series. Now, point number 3. Mastermind during upheaval. This is Magneto to a T. Masterminding crap. Plays upon plays upon plays. Pulling the strings like we on some heavenly demon Don Quixote do Flamingo, aka Joker status. Like we on some Blackbeard status. Straight up pulling strings all day long. And what better mastermind to represent than Magneto himself? If you're a comic books fan, especially if you're a Marvel fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This dude, even when he's quote unquote on the good side, when he's aligned or when he's neutral, he's still making plays. He doesn't do any of this without his personal ideology backing it. Okay, there's been a few times where he's even led or been help leading the X-Men, and you know the X-Men are for the good. But why? It's because mutants, Homo superior, as he calls it, are massively under threat. So, I mean, take it for what it's worth. Point number 4. Morality is a complex issue. And again, we don't want to go too long on a tangent on what that is, but just take that in consideration of the character of Loki. We're talking about Thor's brother, or half-brother, I should say. Thor, whether it be talking about mythology, or in this case specifically, within Norse mythology I was referring to. Or in this case specifically, we're talking about Thor, the mighty Thor from Marvel, okay, and Loki. Especially in the comics, this dude stay making, this dude's morality is massively in question. Not only does he be scheming, okay, all these characters all these 4 definitely fit this mold, okay. Not only is he scheming, but the fact is he's a god. Technically, as an Asgardian, he's a god. So he's not really evil. So to say he's a trickster, even though he does do evil acts, he's not really evil. Because he often helps Thor out. And even though he screws over Thor and several of the other Asgardians, he often does what's necessary to make up for it. So Loki's somewhere very gray, to say the least. You would want to say he's a villain, but he often helps with the quote-unquote good side too often. So it's Loki's, what his morality is, we don't know. I can't say on like certain characters like Golden Freaks that he lacks a sense of morality. But similar but different to Luffy, on more of a negative side, I can say Loki's morality is highly in question. Highly in question. Point number 5. He or she is the lesser of two evils. This fits in Slade from Teen Titans. We're not talking about Deathstroke. We're talking about specifically in the series of Teen Titans. You know, not this Teen Titans Go BS. No, we're not talking about nonsense. We're talking about the Teen Titans from the 2000s, okay, not the 80s version. The Teen Titans from the 2000s. Slade. How can you not remember Slade and how he tried to get Robin as the apprentice? Yo, those 2 episodes late. That's the stuff of legend. I ain't gonna front. That was legendary. Okay, and forced Red X shoot Slade with the ghost, the whole thing, and then later on find out Raven's father. Okay, Trigon. It's been a while since I watched it. I even rewatched the entire series like a year or so ago, but it's been a while, anyways. Regardless, Slade, specifically when he got the curse mark, he helps out the Teen Titans who were his mortal enemy, specifically Robin, because he's like, yo. It's revenge, baby. Look, man, this dude, he was the lesser of 2 evils. Slade was bad. I mean, he died, but Slade was bad. But you got this massive threat to the world who destroyed the entire world without qualms. Slade might mess with y'all, might threaten y'all lives, maybe threaten a city, your precious city. But he's not the threat to the entire world. This dude was massively powerful, if you remember Raven's father. Whether you're talking about comics or in the series itself. He was OP as hell. Point 6. 666. Not on some satanic stuff though. Don't get it twisted. 6. Plot twists change the way the world works. This one's a little harder to explain. And I'll introduce the character. Meaning, how the series shifts its paradigm drastically. Okay, we're not just talking about little wrinkles. We're talking about boom, boom, boom. Okay, we're talking about tiers and layers. Or let's just say all of a sudden, like, for example, an earthquake hits, splits an island kind of stuff, and now the character who was dark and whatever find out that character's personality is far different than what we personally imagine. Now, in that same situation, we have Kiryu Satsuki. And for those who haven't seen Kill la Kill, for those who do, you know Kiryu Satsuki. She changes very much. And even by the end of the series, what is she? She's quite heroic. Almost on a heroine. Not even just the anti-heroine, but like a heroine, okay? But she, at the beginning of the story, she's the villain. The beginning of the series, the anime, she's the villain. For most of the series, especially after her mother, Kira Niragyo, is introduced about midway through the series, she becomes an anti-villain. She holds that role until about episode... Well, actually, the role shifted somewhere around episode 7. I think the episode 7, when when Harame Nui enters it, that was the first paradigm shift. Nui shows up, one of the top tiers in the series. She shows up, and it changes. That shows that there's another villainous aspect, and that Satsuki's actually more or less serving under, even though she's kind of off to her own thing, kind of like on a Uchiha Sasuke kind of thing, even though he was never technically a villain. But you get my whole drift for you Naruto fans. Anyway, so she's not really the main villain of this entire thing. So from that point, as soon as Nui enters the fray, you could say, the battlefield, the villain focus changes from Satsuki. And from episode 7 to at least episode 20, she's still an anti-villain. Even though she's starting to do heroic things, she's an anti-villain at this point. Okay, so for the majority of the series, for, I would argue, at least 75%, 80% of the series, she's an anti-villain. But of course, there's, like I mentioned, there's other paradigm shifts to where she becomes heroic. And as well as her personality matures, her characterization and character development progress rapidly. So that's also what causes her to become more heroic. Even more heroic than, you could say, the protagonist, Matori Ryuka. And the last point, but definitely not the least, placed into a nearly impossible situation. Yes, I know I don't have quite as many points. Heroes was only 8 points, but anyways, placed into a nearly impossible situation for you Magi Labyrinth and Magic fans. You know this, or the anime manga, but the anime hasn't caught the totality yet. And I did this way back last year, and it's definitely been encapsulated even more in the recent chapters. Okay, from about 240 on. Rin Hakuryu. Yo, Rin Hakuryu. And if you watch my Magi reviews, you know my live reviews, you know my thoughts on Hakuryu. He's one of my 4 favorite characters in the entire series, man. Which is my 2nd favorite manga of all time currently. Excuse me, not anime, manga. Rin Hakuryu, man, he's, without spoiling, pretty much his mother, Rin Gyoko, is one of the main villains in the entire series. Currently, the main villain in the entire series. She and Al Thaman, her organization, kills his father and his 2 brothers. All he's left with is his sister, and then there's his half siblings, okay, half brothers and half sisters, and their own agenda. So Hakuryu's twisted and put, and then he's aided by Judar, okay, without trying to spoil too much. That shouldn't be a spoil because I believe the anime's caught up to that point. But yeah, he's put in a situation where you question a lot of things about life. What would you do in that situation? Don't know. It's understandable. He's going very dark, but it's very understandable as to why he goes dark. So it brings in the question, well, what is good and evil? Especially other characters. Like I could mention Sinbad, who people long and shady as a mug. What is Yunan's main goal? Ren Cohen. Okay, Coleman's bad, man. Yo, this dude seems evil for real, though. So, you know what I'm saying, when you have several characters, where is really good? We see a few characters are good, but what is really good in the series and in that world specifically? So that's where it falls under. Unexpected one to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me your thoughts and list some of your favorite anti-villains or who you believe to be an anti-villain, because it's actually very hard to nail down. I know others that I could have mentioned. Venom at times falls under that one. Anybody else? There's probably quite a few that aren't coming in my mind at this specific moment. But yeah, man. Till next time, have a beautiful day, beautiful night. Peace. And any more character and analysis suggestions, feel free to continue to send them in. I will do them. They will get done eventually. I've done some. For Naruto, more will be done. I've been asking. I was thinking about doing a few of those anyway. And yeah, for other characters you would like to see, most def. Yeah. Till next time, y'all. Have a beautiful day, beautiful night. Once again, peace.